and welcome back. So here I have some intelligence update. So on July 2026, blockade and toll announcement. The airstrike began. The US military carried out its third consecutive night of the strike, targeting Iranian missile storage facilities, air defense networks, and drone launches site near Bandar Abbas and Kish Island. Hormuz standoff. President Donald Trump formally notified Congress that active hostile had resumed. He declared US to control over Strait of Hormuz and proposed a highly controversial 20% safe passage toll on all cargo transiting the waterway. The human cost: an Iranian cruise missile attack hitting two UAE supertankers in Omani territorial waters, resulting in death of one Indian crew member and injuring 8 others. On July 14, 2026, policy reversal and regional backlash. So, naval blockade reinforced at 20 GMT. The US officially enforced a comprehensive maritime blockade on all Iranian ports, attempting to completely freeze the country's inbound and outbound shipping. Trump walks back tolls facing swift international backlash. President Trump abandoned his proposal to charge 20% shipping fee through the strait. However, he explicitly warned that the US would bomb Iranian civilian infrastructure, including power plants and bridges, next week if Tehran refuses to negotiate. Shipping stalls. Reuters tracking data showed shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz slowly going down significantly, forcing Goldman Sachs to issue warning regarding a tight global energy supply. On July 15, 2026, multinational escalation happened. So, during the daytime, at island bombardments, the US military launched a massive 90 minutes daytime operation striking Iranian military installation on Greater Tunb Island in Persian Gulf. Iranian army officials stated that the strike killed 7 military personnel in southeast barracks. Some of the regional retaliation: Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps (IRGC) retaliation with drones and missiles targeting US military installation in Kuwait and the US Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, prompting local authorities to activate warning sirens. Airline divers. The European Union Aviation Safety Agency (EASA) raised its threat level to maximum for commercial airlines, ordering carriers to completely avoid the airspace of the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the Gulf of Oman. Moving forward, the energy choke point, the $100 oil threat. So, the there is a panic over a sustained surge in crude prices. Brent crude has already spiked roughly 12% over the last week to clear 85 dollars a barrel. The Strait of Hormuz paralysis. Roughly 20% of the world's petroleum and vast amount of liquefied natural gas (LNG) pass through this narrow corridor daily. Shipping traffic has grounded to a nearly standstill as tankers actively turn back or cut their tracking signals. Global GDP hit. Some of the research warns that if oil remains elevated, global GDP growth for the first half of the year could be depressed by annual rate of 0.6%. Resurgent and long-term inflation. Fed interest rate trapped. Higher fuel and energy costs are stoking fears that temporary supply chain disruption will broaden into permanent systematic inflation. Federal Reserve handcuffs. Investor worry this will force Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh to keep interest rates high for longer or even hike them, stifling domestic income growth right as the Labor Department prepares to release new Consumer Price Index (CPI) data. This has been the worst timing in geopolitical escalation cause it directly collides with the rollout of second quarter corporate earnings report, starting with the major US banks Some of the firms fear that executive guidance for the rest of the year will look heavily downgraded due to rising operation cost and regional instability. Some of the global checkpoints include the precedent risk. Investors are incredibly jittery over the economic precedents being set, while President Trump walked back to his 20% maritime safe passage tool. Commodity analysts and Ristad Energy note that markets are terrified that other nations will attempt to impose a copycat transit fees or military control on other crucial trade arteries like Strait of Malacca in East Asia.